How's it going, guys? So in today's tutorial, we're going to be tackling this animation right here. It's rendered in Cycles, but for those of you who just want to use Eevee, feel free to follow along in Eevee. It works just the same in that engine. If you want to get a hold of this file, it is in the description for $1. Everybody on Patreon, you'll be getting that for free. If you don't know about the Patreon, there's tons of stuff on there. Weekly project files. I just released a pack of 50 looping animations. It's all the project files for all 50 of those animation loops. I also dropped the glitch pack, which is 10 procedural glitch looking materials, and next month in April I'll be releasing the wood pack. You can see it there. So a bunch of cool things happening on Patreon. I released a couple exclusive tutorials and some really cool client work stuff going on there as well, so you can go check that out in the description. So let's get into the tutorial. Alright, so we're going to just open up a blank document here, and of course you can use whatever render engine you like. I personally think it looks the absolute best in Cycles, so we're going to be using Cycles. Now I'm going to hit Shift A and we're going to be opening up a torus here. I'm going to hit Tab, right click, and click Subdivide, and then we're going to smooth it out here and bring the number of cuts all the way to 10, and that's going to give us a really nice smooth object. Now we're going to distort it, and that's going to be done here in the modifiers, add modifier, and we're going to add in a simple deform, and we're going to bring that angle all the way up to 360, and then we're going to copy it, and we're going to change the axis to Z, and now we have that really cool object. And then what I'm going to do, click on the scale tool over here, and just scale them up to be right about that size. And so now we have a really nice, really cool object that we can now start doing some fun stuff with. So just to give it a really cool dynamic look, we're going to go ahead and get an icosphere. Hit Shift A, add the icosphere, hit Tab, right click, subdivide, make sure it's all smooth, number of cuts all the way to here. I'm going to shade smooth by hitting right click and shade smooth. Now I'm going to decrease the size here and make it more of like an egg shape by maintaining in the scale object, scale mode I mean, and then scaling it up to be more egg shaped. And then we'll see, we'll go to wireframe view and we'll just scale it a little bit. If you want to go to wireframe view, hit Z right over here. That's also how you go to rendered view here in, like, say, material view, things like that. So now we have a really cool object here that we can start making a really cool scene around. So let's go ahead and we're actually going to shade this first. Alright, so for the egg, I'm actually going to click this here, hit H to remove it, and we're just going to work with the egg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go to the shading menu. I'm going to hit period to move it up and hit rendered. Now I'm going to be designing this in the Cycles preview, so I'm going to click this drop down and click Scene World, Scene Lights, so I can work with it inside of Cycles. I'm going to switch over to the Cycles render engine. So now we have our egg. Now we need to make a really special glass material. So I'm going to click New, and I'm going to delete this. I'm going to get Shift A and Add Shader, and I'm going to hit Shift D, New, and then we're going to put the shader in here, so into the surface, and we'll put this shader into that shader. So we're going to be using 3 refraction nodes, so Shift A, refraction, REF, refraction BSDF, and I'm going to duplicate it 2 times, Shift D, and then we're going to get RGB here. So click on the color, go to RGB, and bring in the R, bring down the other 2, and repeat that process. And we went G and B. And make sure it is those exact RGB, otherwise it will not look correct. Now let's bring this one right into here, this one into here, and this one into here. And now we have this going on. We have a perfect glass shader here with some weird stuff going on, but that's okay. Now let's go ahead and make this. We're going to give it that RGB effect. So this top one, 1.4. So 1.4. And then this next one, we're going to give it 1.42. So 1.42. So that's looking really cool. Oops, I messed up. 1.42, put it backwards. And then the last one here, we're going to make it 1.44. So 1.44. And that's going to give us this really cool refracting RGB look here in our glass. Now, to make it work like a regular shader, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight these and hit Control G and make it a group so that we can operate all 3 of these at the same exact time when we're plugging in new things to it. So in this case, we're going to group input here, and we'll show you how it works. Just follow along with me, and once we get out of it, once we come out of this dialog, you'll see how it works. So go right here to roughness, use the same one, roughness on all 3, and then we'll use the normal output right here, normal output, and that's where you can put in bump maps. So now when we hit head out of tab, we have this so we can put in any kind of bump node we want here, and we can put in roughness information here. So now you have this really cool RGB node group. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Shift A. So what we're going to do is hit Shift A and add in a color ramp. So we're going to add some really cool roughness fun with this. So hit the color here and put it right here into the roughness. And we're going to get a Voronoi node right here. And I'm going to hit Control T. If you have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, it comes with Blender by default. You hit Control T, adds these two little texture coordinates. Put the object coordinate in here right there. And then we're going to put in the distance here into the color ramp. And we're going to get some fun stuff happening. Right now we get this. So go from F1 to distance to edge, and that's going to give you that old crackle look. And then what we need to do is right here, flip the color ramp. And then we're going to bring the black portion in until we get these really cool Voronoi outlines right here, which is what we want. We're going to actually bring this part in right there, get a really hard edge on this Voronoi. Now we're going to distort that. As you can see, the RGB effect is really doing some really cool stuff back there. Now let's distort it with a Musgrave. Shift A, Musgrave texture, pop it in right there. And we're going to get a mix RGB, so we can use only a little bit of that Musgrave texture to distort it. And we're going to take this object coordinate, color 2. And then we're going to bring the dimension down on the Musgrave and bring the detail up so we get that really smooth Musgrave detail. Now we're going to bring the factor all the way here to get back to where we were, and then just bring the factor in just a little bit so we can have a little bit of that distorted look that we're going for in the glass shader. And then we can bring this in a little bit and we get this really cool look in our egg design with some really cool RGB effects. So that's that. Now let's go ahead and make in that really cool colorful material that I made for this. So click new. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit Shift A and add in a color ramp, just like that, base color, and then going from RGB to HSV, from near to far, and we're going to put them both at purple. What we're doing is we're making an iridescent shader. So click on both and make them purple. Now you get the full spectrum of the rainbow. Also, we're going to make this metallic and bring the roughness down a little bit. We'll play with that more in a second. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a layer weight right here and go and plug in facing. And now, bam, we have a really cool iridescent shader. But we're not done. We need to play with this a little bit more. So what I'm going to do, Shift D, bring this down here, and I'm going to get a mix shader. So Shift A, mix shader, plug that there, and we're going to get this Principled BSDF and plug that there. So now we get, it looks kind of pastel, but that's just because they're mixing not in the way that we want. So we're going to get another layer weight here, Shift D, and we're going to get another color ramp. Plug that there, and then we're going to get this, plug the color, and then plug the facing. Now we have that, and then we're going to make this base color here a nice metallic orange. And then all we have to do, and then what we're going to do is we're going to flip the color ramp here, so we want the orange to be showing. So now what's really cool about this is we can take the blend here and get this really cool green here on the outside and get this really nice orange on the inside. As you can see, if you want to see it working live, say we take the orange and just move it around, it affects the stuff here in the middle. And then this one right here, the facing, affects the stuff on the edge. So we're going to get this really beautiful color change, and it's really fun and really flexible to work with here. So I'm going to say get a nice green going on, and then we have that going. And this is the shader that we're going to be working with. Now the last thing I want to do is I'm going to click on the icosphere, and I'm going to copy over this whole roughness situation. So just highlight all of this, Control C. Now click on this, Control V, and I'm going to hit G to move it over, and then we're going to plug it into the roughness of both outputs here. So right here, and to the roughness output down there. So now we got some cool stuff going on. It's too glossy on this particular material, so I believe the black portion, if you bring it all the way up, correct. So take the black portion and just bring it up so that it's not completely like a mirror on this particular material. And now we have the two materials that we're going to be working with for this design. You can see it very clearly working here in Eevee, and in Cycles, it's of course much more photorealistic. Now let's go ahead and get an HDRI to light our scene. So we're going to go to HDRI Haven. So this is HDRI Haven. If you don't know what an HDRI is, it's a 360 image that lights your scene and gives you photorealistic lights from actual images. So click on HDRIs and pick just any outdoor image you want. I'm going to go ahead and pick a random outdoor image. You can go here and click skies if you'd like, and just go and pick a random one. So say I pick this one, go ahead and download the 4K version. Now that you're going to be back in your scene, I'm going to hit Z and click rendered, so there's no light affecting the world. So I'm going to go ahead and click the world, click this little object right by world, environment texture, and navigate to where you saved your HDRI. So in my case, I have Epping Forest, and now we have what we're going with. All right, so what I'm going to do now is set up a plane, and we're going to scale it up pretty far, something like this. Maybe bring it up some more. I'm going to hit Control A, apply scale, hit Tab, right click, subdivide. I'm going to give it 100 subdivisions. Now I'm going to click this one here, hold down Shift and click this here, and we are going to move it above the plane, kind of like right there. And then I'm going to take, say, adjust my lighting here. So I'm going to go right about here. And the position where I want my camera to look, I'm going to hit Shift A, add my camera, Control Alt 0, snap that to view. And then I'm going to go down a little bit by hitting G, and then I'm going to hit R twice so I can move it up. And now I have my composition for now. We're going to change it up a little bit later. Now let's go ahead and add a displacement to this plane. So I'm going to go ahead, click the modifiers, and add displace, new, go to the textures right there, and go to the clouds, bring depth all the way down, and bring scale pretty far up, probably to right there. And then what I need to do is add in a subdivision surface modifier, and then click this up arrow to put it above the displacement, and click viewport to this one, maybe a third viewport, right click, shade smooth. And I'm gonna go back to the texture here. Actually brought the depth the wrong direction. Bring your depth down to 0, and that's gonna allow us to use less subdivision because we're gonna add more detail later. And then I'm gonna bring my strength down to maybe right about there. And then I'm gonna rotate my plane a little bit just to improve the composition, something like that. Now let's go ahead and add a material to this plane. So back to shading. I'm gonna click 0 to go to my camera, and I'm gonna click new. I'm gonna hit period because I lost it. Now we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna hit Control C and go back here, Control V, and plug that straight into my principled. I'm gonna get a noise texture in OI. Hit Control T to add that texture setup and use the object coordinate, and we're gonna use factor into the color ramp to distribute that color around. And we're gonna bring the scale down a little bit. I'm gonna get in a bump texture because we're gonna add some texture to here. And then we're gonna bring this color ramp, bring the factor into the height. And now we have some texture going on. I'm gonna bring the detail up to maybe around there. And then I don't like what the color that's actually happening, so I'm gonna hit Shift A, hue saturation node, plug that right there, and then we can bring our hue around to something that we're more interested in for this design. Of course, if you don't like it, you can still play around with the hue to whatever you like, and I'm gonna bring my roughness all the way here and bring my saturation down and my value down a little bit, so it looks more like a ground to help with our scene. We'll go back to layout. Now the last thing we need to add to this here is a background image for our sky. So I'm going to go to Unsplash. This is all royalty-free images, including HDRIs. So we're gonna go and find a background image for our sky. So here in the search, I'm gonna type in sky and go ahead and find an image that is the same point of view here. So if your camera's pointing really close to the ground, you're gonna want an image that looks like it is also close to the ground. So what I'm going to use this image right here, and I'm going to download it. So what we're going to do is go to Edit, Preferences, and in the add-ons, type in Image, and you're going to want to click Import Images as Planes. And so what that's going to allow us to do is hit Shift A, Image, Image as Plane, and then we're going to go and find my image that I downloaded. So right here, before you double-click it, make sure you click on Emit, and then Import Image as Planes. And then we're going to put this guy really far back because we're going to be adding some depth of field into our scene, and we want the depth of field to affect that image as well. So it has to be pretty far away. And then we're going to scale it up until it meets our composition here in our camera. And then we're going to sort of play around with it a little bit, and then we'll check it out how it looks in the render. Something like that. We'll go to the Eevee preview so we can have a real-time work around with it. And then say something like that. It's going to look really good. What I'm going to do is play with this displacement on the ground here. I'm going to go up here back to the texture and play with the size. So we're going to add some more rolling hills here. And then we're going to bring it down a little bit as well. So that's what I want to do here. So now we have our floor, then bring our sky down just a little bit more here. Now what we're going to do is add in some depth of field. So to really control depth of field to exactly where you want the camera to be focusing, I'm going to add an empty and a plane axis. And place this empty exactly where you want the camera to be focusing. So I want it to be right here on my object. And then we're going to go back to rendered view, click on the camera, little green camera icon, depth of field, and on focus object, click that empty, and then blades, bring them all the way up to 16, and start bringing down your f-stop until you like how defocused this foreground is. So something around here, and then now the image behind you is blurred just like it would be in a real camera, and this foreground is blurred as well, giving you a nice composition. And then this is your image. We are done. All you have to do now is just animate this twisting here if you want to animate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to frame 0, hitting the back arrow. I'm going to give myself 120 frames. What I'm going to do is go here. I'm going to hit this icon here for a keyframe, click the very end, type in 360 to give it a nice loop, and then we'll do that. And if we just check out the Eevee preview, you're going to get this really cool, really interesting animation loop that the final product, when you render it, will look like this. And it'll look really amazing. Of course, this is Cycles. Glass looks better in Cycles, so I would recommend rendering in the Cycles, but I know that a lot of people's computers cannot handle that. For your export settings, I'll run through that really quickly. So what you're going to want to do is pick whatever render engine you're in. Click right here and place it wherever file you'd like. Go to PNG to FFmpeg video. MCounting, go to MP4, and medium quality, go to perceptually lossless. Save your file, render it, and you're good to go. So there you go. That's how you create this render, this animation here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and thanks for watching.